Reckon tomorrow you can, you'll work on it.
Yes, sir.
Reckon tomorrow you can take a look at where they would get this, which also is cultivated, packaged, and shipped right out in the highway,
Yes, sir.
pursuit of the farm bill,
Yes, sir.
that controls the amount. You be working on that?
I can look into that. Yes, sir.
And if you find that somebody in Hampshire or California or any other place is sending a product to the Bella Hayes folks, selling it to them, representing it to be something that is legal, when you're saying it's not, you gonna do something about that?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm gonna count on you.
Yes, sir.
Is that all, Mark?
I believe that we've presented the evidence we have. We have other officers, but it would just be repetitive, and so
Sure.
we'll leave it to the council to make a decision.
Let me ask a couple of questions. I don't know whether to ask to the police officer or to you, as our city attorney. Does the state law define what marijuana is illegal and what is legal? Is there any kind of separation? In other words, as I understand what you say,
Right.
what you got back from Department of Forensic Science said that this was marijuana.
Yes, sir.
There was no testing results. You didn't receive any testing results on the amount of THC. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct?
So the one of the lead scientists at ADFS, I had contacted her after sending this to ADFS, and her name is Rochelle, and she actually did tell me that if it were to come back as CBD with some kind of compound, it would read on my results as, CBD or present it differently than marijuana.
Well, I'm not sure I understood what you said. Say it again.
So the results from one of the lead scientists at ADFS explained to me that the results would read differently than they read on mine. Mine shows here at the bottom, just as one example.
A controlled substance.
Yes, sir.
It says out beside it, a controlled
Yes, sir.
substance.
So I was told that the result of that would be different if it was a different substance other than marijuana, say CBD or something along those lines, that it would read differently than just being marijuana.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Peake has asked you about THC. What is tetrahydrochloride? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Chemical?
Yes, sir.
Is there a leniency in this state or a state law that provides that marijuana that's grown with a certain amount of THC below a certain percentage is
No, not marijuana, no, sir.
not marijuana?
No, sir.
Okay. That's another plant we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
That's similar to marijuana that's now being put on the market. That's
Yes, sir.
right? Okay. Okay. That's all you can have this.
Yes, sir.
John, have you seen this?
I haven't seen, I haven't seen.
Okay, well, take a look at that report right there.
Got it, okay. We're going to ask somebody else to define that, but Officer Patterson was able to explain that. I don't have anything further.
I'm sorry, I can't hear what you said.
I was going to ask one of the others to explain about that, but Officer Patterson knew about it and was able to explain,
Okay.
so.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
In drug cases in the state of Alabama, the state forensic lab,
Yes, sir.
is that pretty well accepted, their findings? I know you can get different results. If you could send it to 10 labs and it may vary a small amount from lab to lab,
Yes, sir.
But if it comes back as a particular drug, is that general, does that often get overturned in the courts in Alabama? Does anybody know about that?
Well, if he knows, I mean, do you have any knowledge of that?
I don't know, sir.
You know, if it's not legal in the state of Alabama, it makes my decision cut and dried. But if there's some legitimate question about that, then I got to think. But when you send it to the state lab, whatever it is that not generally accepted in the court of law?
As far as I'm aware, it is, yes, sir. That usually stands as being what the result is.
The Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences is an accredited organization. They are recognized by the national. Their testing does not get overturned. They are no different than if this was sent to Quantico, Virginia, the FBI. There is no, they don't get overturned. They are accredited, just like, Quantico. So to answer your question, Mr. Powell, if they come back and they say that is marijuana, a controlled substance in the state of Alabama, that's what it is.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor. If there were a test performed in Chattanooga, Tennessee, did they follow the same procedures as the Alabama lab did?
Well, we're early in this. I can tell you that I have seen results from several labs, these are the vendors. The one in Chattanooga is about 2 hours away from Hansville, Alabama, in terms of the route. So I'm assuming that you're familiar with Hansville, that's probably the closest facility. When you look them up, they appear to be, they appear genuine lab testing facility. That's all I can really tell you at this point, except I will say, we'll take issue with some of the things that have been said about what the results mean and what the law is and what the results mean. I'd like to have a moment to speak about that without bogging you guys down too much. But I have no reason to believe that these test results are anything other than legitimate and appropriate test results that are part of the process.
I guess my last question would be, what we have before us is a report from the Department of Forensic Science and for the state of Alabama that says that this material is marijuana, an illegal substance.
Yes, sir.
We don't have any other information before us to say anything differently, do we? I mean, to present to us tonight to, I'm talking to anybody who wants to tell me, Okay, well, do you have anything else you'd like to offer?
No, sir.
All right, John, we'll hear from you.
Thank you all. I think the last time I was here was August, many moons ago, to talk about Pro Bono Month, and I had my natural hair color at that time. I will tell you all that that's a wonderful question about the lack of any other evidence to present to you. And I will tell you, every single document that represents a test result that we get delivered to us in the ordinary course of business with every shipment is in the custody of the police department. Every single product that we could have, by the way, there's a lot of stuff over there, a lot of retail product over there that nobody suspects at all is any form of contraband. It's behind lock and key right now. Can't even get into the place, okay? Every single you notice that they talked about what all they took, and they took a sampling and sent it off. And this is no offense to they're doing what they're supposed to do, but you're asking, well, why is nobody bringing any other evidence? Well, because all of our reports are no longer in our possession, except for 2 of them, by the way.
Part of the Farm Bill of the United States
provides, and it's not about what the plant is. As a matter of fact, the Farm Bill is about hemp, and you tend to think of that as being separate plants. But if you actually read the text of the regulations, you see that it's really an all-encompassing regulation that refers to, and this is what I'm speaking from now, is the Alabama Department of Agriculture and Industry's Plant Protection Administrative Code. The total Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol. Now look, I'm not going to pick on anybody. There's a reason we call it THC, okay? But y'all were just told it was a different compound. That's not the name that was used to you guys, okay? So the reason I'm telling you this is I want to be as respectful as possible, but we're early as a country and early as a state into this, but the law is clear in terms of what it allows, okay? I'm telling you, until we stood here tonight, we were looking at, wait a minute, if there's truly something wrong with this, if it's out of spec, if it's out of protocol, then that needs to be taken up first of all, we want to address it and deal with it. As a company, as a citizen of the community, we want to take that up and deal with it. But someone in the state of Alabama, a half a day's drive from here, okay, has distributed at least part of this product to us with documents that say, you remember your officer said every one of those documents said it was within protocol. And we're not going, okay, buddy, yeah, just send us a good lab test. They send us a lab test with what they sell us, okay? And so the situation is this. Nobody's been charged with a crime. It's not to say that won't happen, and I don't say it as a challenge. As we stand here right now, nobody's been charged with a crime. There is it's natural to be upset about this because this is our community and we don't want something. I raised my children here, okay? I wish they'd all come back here. They're not going to be able to, but I wish they could. And we love this community, but the law provides that they can sell something within a certain level of tolerance. And again, it may not be what you want to buy and it may not be what you agree with, but the concern that I have right now is that they have lots of other, everyone would agree, non-contraband product over there that's sitting there ruining, okay? It's the door's behind a lock. I'm assuming a padlock, but the door's behind a lock, okay? All we're saying is, why can't we tap the brakes on this proceeding right here? Why can't we just take a deep breath and say, look, I think there is something at least that we need to look into before we take their license away. Now, before we revoke their business license. You know, there are consequences for revoking a business license for the business, you know. I mean, at some point, you got to fill out an application somewhere that says, has your business license ever been revoked? And it's not good if you say yes. So all I'm saying is if there is anything about this that makes you say, well, maybe we need to take a deeper look into it, why don't we do that? The place is locked up, and everything that anybody thought was contraband has been taken away. If there's a concern about harm to the public, there certainly will not be, and there are judicial processes for all this. And it just seems to me that if there was a time to take it a little bit slow, to make certain that the substantial rights of everybody involved are observed, now might be the time to do that.
Well, let me make a comment. All we have before us tonight are reports that say that this is marijuana, an illegal substance. Okay?
Really?
Now,
I just handed you two.
well, I know what you handed me, and I don't understand it. So it's got stuff in there, I don't know what it means. Now, having said that, that don't mean I can't understand it at some point. I have a little concern about this. And as I understand what you're saying, and I watched the news and read articles about this in the past couple of years as this thing has kind of developed, there is a certain product that can be sold in Alabama that is legal, provided it is under a certain level of THC. That's what I understand the law to be. Now, the issue here is we don't know what this is, what its THC is, because that's not in the report. That bothers me. Now, our police department works hard to keep our streets clean, and we want to continue that. But at the same time, we got to follow the law. And in my opinion, what we ought to do is tap the brakes and find out what we got. Because we're bound by the law up here. Everything we do, we got to make sure that we're operating under the law. Now, it bothers me that this business license was issued for a bait shop. Is that correct?
For a bait
shop?
shop? No.
Is that correct? Vape shop.
Vape, right.
Well, I don't even know what that is, so we'll move on from that. I want to make sure that what we have, what the police department has, is not something that is permitted under the Farm Act in the state of Alabama. We don't have that information before us. All we have is the word marijuana, an illegal substance. Well, I understand that, Hazel, that we don't want marijuana, but there is a provision in state law that allows a substance very similar to a marijuana plant, but it has to have, the product has to generate less than a certain amount of THC. And what these people are telling us here is that's what they had, was a plant that was below the THC level in Alabama under the act adopted by the legislature. Now, I don't know, has all of that been approved by the state? Are these products approved by the state to put on the market?
I don't know how that, I haven't been in this long, and I just want to always be candid with you. I don't know.
I know there's been a lot on the news about the medical marijuana and all that, and they can't decide who's going to get licenses and all that kind of stuff, and where they can sell it and all that. But this is a different thing from that. I'm just concerned that we may do something here that overreact, not criticizing our police department. They act under their job description of doing what they're supposed to do. But I'm a little bit concerned about us acting on a report that we don't know whether or not that substance is permitted under state law, as described by Mr. Peake. Now, the report we got from Department of Forensic Sciences just says marijuana, illegal substance. For that reason, I would not agree to open the business until such times as we are certain that this substance is not the substance that's permitted to be sold in the state of Alabama by state law. Now, what we got to do is get busy and figure out how to find out that information. So I'm going to recommend to the council that we not take action on this tonight. The license is suspended, it's not terminated. So he can't operate the business. until we determine this. If it comes out like you say it is, case is over. If it comes out like our police officers are telling us, then the license will be terminated. Is that fair enough?
Sounds fair enough.
Chief, you good with that? Sir?
It's your ruling.
Well, I understand, but you understand where we are. And we're in a little bit of a hard spot. Would you like to say something?
I don't disagree with what Mr. Peak is saying about the Farm Act, but the Alabama law specifies marijuana, and it specifies hemp and the things that they're claiming is in their product. What you have from the Department of Forensic Science is marijuana. As you read on there, it says a controlled substance. It does not say anything else is in that product other than marijuana. If it would come from out of one of those jars that we took from that place, okay, I could probably agree with what you're saying. We've got, what'd you say, 25 jars? Out of 25, 9 of those have come back with marijuana. I don't think that's a mistake. Not when you got
No,
9
I
different.
don't either. My question though is, it may be marijuana, but is it marijuana that's provided for as an exception under this act that Mr. Peak's talking about?
Not under the Farm Act. Marijuana is marijuana. You can have marijuana without having THC. You can extract the THC out of the marijuana and you still have marijuana.
Well, we got a little.
You can have marijuana without having the THC in it. Marijuana is illegal in the state of Alabama, as you know. I mean, you know the laws. That's what we have here is marijuana. If we bought this same product off somebody on the street and it tested positive for marijuana, we're gonna put them in jail for distribution. If it would have been the same product. We haven't took any legal action against the owners or the people at Miller Hayes because we are trying to make sure we have the right stuff. But we do know from the Department of Forensic Science, which is the only scientific lab that we use in law enforcement for our testing, that this is marijuana. Not hemp, not any other thing, but marijuana.
Okay. I hear you. I'm still a little uneasy about it. We will meet again in 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, I want to know what's out there and what this product is. I see that, I know what the test results are. If I was up against the wall and had no other choice but to rule tonight or not rule tonight, I would rule to terminate the license. Okay? But we're not in that position. We have the right to make sure our minds are clear, and the law is what we're acting under the law.
It may be that, and I'll work with whoever I need to work with on this. I only say what I'm about to say because when you said in 2 weeks we'll need some information, you were looking and nodding at me, and unless something changes, I won't have any of that product that was confiscated to be able to test. So.
Well, I'm not talking about testing. I'm talking about the law.
Okay,
That's what I want to know about. I know what the test says.
gotcha. All right.
And there's not going to be any THC in those tests. It's just going to say marijuana, an illegal substance. Now, you got to bring back something under the law to show me that there is some leeway here, one way or the other. Okay?
Yeah.
And go from there.
Mr. Peak, if you could provide me with the administrative code things that you're saying, because the Code of Alabama just says possession or sale of marijuana is illegal, and the administrative code that I see defines marijuana as all parts of the plant cannabis sativa L, whether growing or not, the seeds thereof, the resin extracted from any part of the plant, and every compound, manufacture, salt derivative, mixture or preparation of the plant, its seeds or resin, which I don't see anything about levels of THC. Now, CBD oil does have that, but if you could provide that to me, that would be helpful.
We're not going to do that right now.
Oh, I know, but you're reading from page 5, you'll find it on page 3.
Okay. We're not gonna rule on this tonight. We're gonna take it up in 2 weeks. Between now and 2 weeks, I wanna know what the law is, so I know in my mind that I'm doing the right thing. But the business will not be operated between now and then. Okay? All right, we will move on then to our next item of business, resolution number 2023, abatement of nuisance properties. You have there in your packet a property on 105 Catherine Street and a property at 608 Stanley Avenue. Both of these properties have been investigated by our officer and recommended that we take action and declare them nuisance.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, resolution 2023-62 on the abatement of nuisance property.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Griffin. Do we have a second?
I second the motion, Mayor.
Second by Mr. Mount. Any further discussion, questions, or comments? All in favor of adopting resolution 2023-62 related to abatement of nuisance properties, please indicate by raising your right hand and saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, the same sign. And that carries. Thank you for that. Next item is resolution 2023-63 authorizing the Third Avenue Transportation Alternatives Program project. This is a project that we have applied for, I think, was this the third time, John?
No, sir, this is our first time for actual application for this project.
Okay. And this is for a redoing Third Avenue sidewalks, curbs, gutters, streets, lights, everything, all the way from Stanley, from the intersection of East 3 Knott Street there, and that intersection with Stanley Avenue on the other side, headed all the way up to the high school. The resolution that you would take up tonight would authorize me to execute a contract with the department, with the state of Alabama to move forward. Be a lot of planning and a lot of engineering work that'll have to be done before it's brought back, but it's a 80-20 grant, 80 money coming from the state and 20% coming from us. So I would recommend that you approve resolution 2023-63 authorizing Third Avenue Transportation Alternatives Program project.
Mayor, I'll make that resolution authorizing that project.
All right, motion by Mr. Boswell. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Powell. Any further discussion, questions, comments? All in favor then, please indicate by raising your right hand and saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. And that carries. Thank you for that. Our next item is resolution 2023-64 authorizing application for an A-Trip 2 Brooklyn Road intersection realignment. This is something that we've been working on for quite some time. The Covington County Commission has agreed to partner with us on this. And basically this would move the red light out there on where South 3 Knott Street enters the bypass on the west side of town, would move it down to Brooklyn Road and redesign that entire intersection to make it much safer than it is now. That's gotten to be one of the most dangerous intersections in Andalusia. Awful lot of traffic through there. Hard to get in and out of some of those businesses down there, and hard for folks to get in and out of their yards and in their driveways. So in any event, this is an important project, and we need to file an application for a A-Trip 2 Brooklyn Road intersection realignment. It's also this is a priority with the state transportation DOT, so I feel pretty good about the possibility of getting a grant here. This would be a long-term project, 2 or 3 years even out, but we got to start somewhere. So I would recommend that you would authorize us to file that application and see if we could get some state money to help us with it.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve resolution 2023-64, authorizing an application for the A-Trip grant for Brooklyn Road intersection realignment.
All right, sir. Have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second the motion, Mayor.
Second, Mr. Mount. Any further discussion, questions, or comments?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to comment on the fact that we're working with the county.
Yes, sir.
We've done that on a couple of projects now, and I think that's commendable.
I agree. This is a big project, and we need, I'm glad the county is willing to step in and help us with it, because Brooklyn Road is really a county road. Even though it's inside the city limits of Andalusia, it's really a county road. This intersection has caused a lot of problems, including a recent death of a motorcycle driver out there. So it is an important project. All right, we have a motion and a second then to approve this application for the A-Trip Brooklyn Road project. All in favor, please raise your right hands and say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same, and that carries. Next item is resolution number 2023-65, Heritage Park Project. This is for transfer of some money out of our bond account for payment of some work that's been already done out there, $150,000. This will come from our 2022 series bond account that we created for construction of our new Heritage Park. So I recommend to you that you would approve taking that amount out for payment for the work that's being done at the present time.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve Resolution 2023-65, allocating an additional $150,000 for the continued construction of Heritage Park.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Powell. Do we have a second?
I second.
Second by Mr. Boswell. Any further discussion, questions, or comments? Hearing none, all please indicate by raising your right hand and saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you for that. Our last item is resolution number 2023-66, declaring some property from the police department, or some equipment surplus, so that we can dispose of it and sell it, get some money back. And these include 5 patrol eyes, body cameras, and 1 docking station. And as I understand it, the chiefs worked out an agreement with the city of Opp. They want theirs. They want to purchase ours because that's the kind of camera they're using now. Y'all will remember that we were able to secure new cameras for our police department just within the last month or two. So I recommend to you that you approve resolution 2023-66, declaring the property, this equipment surplus.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of resolution number 2023-66, authorizing our Andalusia Police Department to declare the sole listed equipment surplus to their needs.
All right, have a motion by Mr. Nix. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Griffin. Any further discussion, questions, or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the resolution, please indicate by raising your right hand and saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. None opposed. Thank you for that. That's all of our official business. I want to remind everyone that the Veterans Day Parade and program afterwards back at the monument will be this Saturday, starting at 10 o'clock. Please attend if you can. This parade and attendance to this program has grown through the years, and quite frankly, Andalusia has become known as the most patriotic city in the state of Alabama, and we're going to continue to do that as long as we can. Everything that we enjoy today, sitting up here and taking action, is made possible by our veterans. So let's pay a tribute to them and try to attend the parade and the program that follows the parade. If it rains,